Okay, we continue Zera Shimshon on Parshas Lecha, Liluy Nishmas, my friend Rabbi Yaacov Deyo, Yaacov ben Avraham Ger Tzedek. Speaking of Gerim, so we'll continue with the part that the point that we left off. First, we'll recap. The point that we're in the middle of. The Zera Shimshon asked the following kasha, right? That by Brisbane, I'm sorry, Bakashru says that he's Losses, he's going to give the land, and it's going to be Yerusha. He uses these two terms, Losses, to give, which was the gift, and then Yerusha, which implies inheritance. So it's not just redundant; it's actually there's two different legal mechanisms, right? A gift, is you don't have it coming to you, right? It's it's a gift by benevolence, and now if a gift was given on condition, so he invokes the halacha and choshen mishpat that the burden of proof is on the recipient to prove that the conditions were met to validate the gift, right? So a person gives a gift on condition. The recipient has to bring proof the conditions were upheld. Good. So now here's the problem. If Hashem, gave us the land as a gift, right, on condition that we keep Torah and mitzvahs, which is quite apparent, throughout, that's why we're giving it to it. We're given the land to do mitzvahs. A lot of mitzvahs we can't even do outside of Earth. So it was for the person doing mitzvah, and God makes it very, very clear throughout the Torah, that if we're going to lose land, we'll keep the mitzvahs. So wait a minute. If the burden of proof is on us that we actually upkept the Torah, we will fall short of proving that, because there's plenty of people that would call sadly, a lot of people from throughout our history that would call that into question. Right? Remember, burden of proof is on us that we are upholding the law. Right? Burden of proof is on us. Now, of course, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wouldn't want that. He wants to give us the land for our benefit, right? He wants us to have it rather than not have it. So, of course, God is not going to forgive us if we violate the Torah. But here's the thing: it's if the gift was given on condition that we keep the Torah, burden of proof is on us that we completely upheld the Torah. It would be hard for us to prove. Right now, if it wouldn't have been given on condition, it would have been, okay. So as long as we don't violate the Torah, we're not going to lose it. But given on condition we keep the Torah, we have to provide incontrovertible proof that we're keeping the Torah. Not good, right? Okay, so Riboshim gives us the land, be Yerusha, right? Now Yerusha, okay, on the one hand, the heir who inherits it doesn't have to deserve it. It's his, by right, by the laws of Yerusha. He's in the family, he's next of kin, he gets it. No matter if he's a total low life or not, he gets it. He gets it because it's coming to him. But here's the problem, right? He invokes the Gemara that the laws of inheritance apply to non-Jews, that a non-Jewish kid will inherit his Gentile father, because there is family relations amongst Goyim. And we mentioned yesterday, this is true amongst Goyim, not true amongst slaves, Eved ein Lochayas, right? But there is family relations, between Goyim, and therefore a Goy, inherits from his father, a Goy midoraisa. That's Torah law. Okay. Now a Ger could inherit from his father, the Goy, only midrabanan, because we don't want him to lose out by becoming Jewish, but really midoraisa, he's not related to his father-in-law, right? But let's say both father and son convert. So then Chazal want to emphasize that they're not related to each other anymore. They don't want there to be any confusion that they are no longer related. because it's both as if they were both born out of nowhere at the moment that they convert. So father and son are no longer related. So even in Drabanan, a ger will not be Yerush from his father, who also was a ger. Okay, so he says like this. So Yerusha, Avraham Avinu's a ger. Avraham Avinu's a ger, and so you want to say that he has the land of Israel. Because it's a Yerusha from Shem, like we had learned in previous pieces. When Noach came out of the Teva, so he apportioned the world, as where he owned the whole world, and in his will, for lack of a better word, he is okay. So Yefes gets the north, Chum gets the south, Shem gets the center of earth, which that's where Eretz Yisrael is. So everyone says, look, I'm a ger. Right, so because he converted to Judaism, we explained this yesterday. So at best, I get the land only midrabanan, not midoraisa, because Shem and all those who came before me are goyim. I'm a Jew, so I only get the land midrabanan. But now you're telling me that Terach, it was also encoded this week's parsha. In this parsha, that Terach is going to do tshuva. Terach also converted. So if Terach is a convert, just like I'm a convert, I don't get the land at all, Yerusha. So either clause is limited. If it's a matana, it's a matana al tonight, because it's very clear that's al tonight. We keep the Torah, and we need to prove beyond any reasonable doubt that Am Yisrael is keeping the Torah. Hard to do, right? If it's Yerusha, but Avraham Avinu is a ger. So at best, he only has a midrabanan from his forefathers who are goyim. And if Yisrael also did true, he doesn't have it at all, not even midrabanan. And these were the points that we left off on that cliffhanger. So it says like this. So it says the Zera. So mishum hachi hutzchushtel shonos mashal kach. So that's why now you understand why he's saying losses and Yerusha. Right? It's a gift and it's inheritance, but that they should supplement each other. How so? Lo says the Chablash Matan Ruilcha Velo Lacherem. I feel Birusha Fisha Kiam to call Torah Mashekina Acherim. Right? So now, first of all, Lo says goes on you, Avraham Avinu, you per se. Right? Because you deserve the land more than anyone else, because you earned it. Right? It's saying that you earned because you, Avraham Avinu, you're good. Right? Because you're a Ben Torah. Right. So that's why you have to get it. You get it on merit. Inheritance is not through merit. Avinu, you're getting it merit based, and that's losses. And the losses is to you, Avram. Right. Right. But your kids after you, for them it's a Yerusha. So you got it because you kept the whole Torah. You kept the whole Torah before it was given. Right? As we know, Avinu prophetically figured out all the mitzvahs. He was Makayim Kol Torah. Avram, for you, it's a matana. For you, it's a matana because you kept the whole Torah and you have proof. You have receipts that you are Makayim Kol Torah. So it's a matana tonight that you are Makayim the tonight. And because you're Makayim the whole Torah, right? You deserve Eretz Yisrael and not any one of the others of the Bnei Shem. Good. But after that, from you downwards, it's a Yerusha, right? In the sense that from you downwards, it's no longer going to be merit-based, but rather Am Yisrael, who are now Jewish, you're Jewish and they're Jewish. Of course, a ger's own children that were born after he converted are his children. The kids that a ger has after he converted are his bona fide children, right? He's Jewish and he had Jewish children after he was Jewish, and that's your children after. For them, it's Yerusha. So even though they're going to fall short of how you keep the Torah, but for them, it's Yerusha. From you downwards, it's Yerusha. For you, it's a matana because you did indeed keep Kol Torah Kula, and you can demonstrate that you did so. And then once we have set it up that way, Matana for Avram and Yerusha from Avram Avinu down, now the Midas Adin cannot prosecute in any way if Am Yisrael doesn't keep the Torah, because after Avram Avinu downwards, it's all Yerusha, and it's not merit-based, it's inheritance. B'Yisrael sheyaseh terach tshuva, Kapirish Rashi. All right, so now that's what the pasuk goes on to say. You're going to join your fathers in peace meeting, join your father meeting. Terach also did tshuva. And it's okay now to say that Terach did tshuva, and it's not going to be a problem, right? Mishumachi Koras is Avraham Bris Lemo Zarachar Sati Vadayin Varia Dain Lona Sancha Dain Isabiata Kanaim Vaya Lomar Etain. Abahov Shnitna Nesina Zu Shasa Lavra Maisa Dafko Tos Bonav Kadei Shem Yoshua Hakimenov not so good Lafikach Omer Nasati, and therefore it goes on to say to you, to your Zaracha Nasati, to your children I have given this land. Wait a minute, you didn't give it to the children who weren't born yet. Children weren't born yet. Hasn't happened yet. The Canaan was still no. Lizaracha Nasati is no, it's a lumdus. Right? For the sake that your kids should get the land, Nasati to you. I did it in Matana al Tanai to you, and you were Makayim the Tanai. And I did it, Nasati, now, present tense. Nasati, right? For you, for the sake that they'll have it be Yerusha, and they'll never lose it, even if they fall short. Right? I gave it to you now for their benefit, because since I gave it to you, they will now have it be Yerusha because of you. Now you got it b'matana, and now although he doesn't specify, but he answered the question. So now it's no bummer, for lack of a better word, that Terach did tshuva, and then because Avram's not getting the land as Yerusha from Terach, which you can't do because Terach converted to Judaism also, as it were. And no. Avram is getting it as a matana, right? As a matana out tonight, but Avram kept it tonight. Avram kept Kol Torah Kula. Avram is right, but now Avram has it b'matana for the constructive purpose that from that point onwards, it'll be a Yerusha to his descendants, and they can't lose it because they're getting it be Yerusha, not with the matana out tonight. Vodi Yeshua Kim Shadibro Dvaro Shakosh Gulesh Reka Mitchila Amar Los Says Lachas Arts Azos Toshi Kain Dvaro Mashachaz Lomar Zarcha Nasati Dahainu Mashinasa Banav Enikris Matana Gemura Sharei Chazar Velakam and Vegirsha Misham Ela Hakolu Remes Aosin Shua Yichayu Hamesim Vita Avram Atzmos Arts Umikol Makom Legai Banav Shaykh Loshasati Beloshan Avar Shekvar Beis Hatchia Kvar not Lam Palma Cheres Mechayim. Okay, over here is saying, he's just, positing another point. Not as, in my humble opinion, not as strong as the point he just posited, and not as cute. But he's saying also, like, listen, it's going on just, Lazarcha Nasati. I gave it already. Well, God's words always are fulfilled. Whatever God says will happen inevitably. Now, inevitably, so it's inevitable from now that it's going to happen. Am Yisrael is going to get Eretz Yisrael, right? So whatever's going to happen in the future has, in effect, in a certain way, already happened now, because from this point onwards, it's inevitable. So it could be it's Ken Zanazai that, look, of course, giving the land to Am Yisrael wasn't when we actually came in the days of Yoshua, not when we came in the days of Ezra, right? So because God subsequently booted us out of Eretz Yisrael, right? It's all talking about the future, right? When, by the resurrection of the dead. By the resurrection of the dead, Hashem is everyone will be there. Us and Avraham will be there. Hashem is going to give us the land. And that way, it'll be, Avraham is giving, Hashem's giving the land to Avraham. He's giving it to his kids, giving it to everybody all at the same time. But it's already called Nasati, already done, because the prophecy that makes it inevitable is from now. Right? Right. Okay, let's just explain why Nasati, even though it hasn't happened yet. He's saying it literally hasn't. Not only did it not happen at that time, it didn't even happen to date yet in history. It's only going to happen fully by the resurrection. But why past tense? As if it's already a done deal from Bris and B'Sorim, because that's when the prophecy was and makes it inevitable. right? And therefore, since it's inevitable, it's as if it happened already. I think that's where he's coming from. All right, and another shot. You're going to join your forefathers in peace. So again, quoting Rashi, join your forefathers because your forefathers are also Terach did tshuva. So you will indeed be in Terach and death because Terach also will be in a good place because he did tshuva. So Makshi Rolam Echanu Lom Dimikan Shachas Tshuva Deim Kain Lomar Vata Tavo Elavicha. Mashakovas Yasur Kasha Rashi Lomar Mashtel Varas Tshuva Lo Af Misharvas Yesh Lomar Kain. So everyone asks on Rashi, you will join your forefathers, right? Actually, as we were learning this, I was thinking the same thing, right? The Liluy, you'll join your forefathers. It should just say, if only Terach, say you will join your father. Tavo Elavicha. You join your father, right? So I was like, what? Did everyone all the way back between all the generations between him and Shem all do tshuva also? Right? So Mamanav Shach. If it's Avosecha, it should be all your forefathers did tshuva. And if it's Dafka Terach, it should be Tavo Elavicha B'Shalom, right? Venira the Kaim Molan. So the answer is it goes according to the halacha that we paskin. The brum is Zaki Avua. A son could bring merit to his father, who is dead already. Brum is Zaki Avua. V'mayo Mer Vata Tavo Avicha B'Shalom Leisa Mer Shasa Terach Tshuva. El Shebeschus Avraham Shel Beno Shel Terach Hol Afa Terach Liyeshiv B'Shalva. So we just say Ata Tavo El Avicha B'Shalom. You will join your father. So now, wait a minute. Brum is akavua. What a son on earth does could benefit his father who already departed to the next world, right? Brum is akavua. Say you will join your father in peace. It wouldn't be a raya that Terach did tshuva. Maybe Terach died without tshuva. But your father, you'll find your father when you pass on. You'll join your father in a good place, and because you, Avraham Avinu, did stuff that brought schus to your father, right? So so it wouldn't be a proof necessarily that Terach himself did tshuva. Maybe Terach will be in a good place in heaven for Avraham Avinu to join him because the mitzvahs that Avraham Avinu continued to do on earth. Bram is Zaka Avua, right? But now it says you will join your forefathers. Now, we don't find that the forefathers all did tshuva. And now also the fact that we say Bram Zaka Avua, I'm relying on him. He said Bram Zaka Avua only works one generation up. That the good deeds of a son is a merit for his father who's already passed on in heaven, only goes up one generation, only helps for the father, not for the grandfather. No, but I'll tell you why it's Lashon Rabbi. Of course, Avram can only help Terach, but Terach can help his father. So now it's a raya that Terach did tshuva, right? Because Avraham Avinu is he's going to join his forefathers, plural, meaning minimally his father and his grandfather, minimally, right? Minimum of two, right? Minimum mute Rabbi Shimshon, the most minimal multiple amount is two. All right, so minimally Avraham Avinu Avosecha is two generations. So wait a minute, but Avraham Avinu being a good guy can only help Terach, can't help his grandfather. Must be that Terach did tshuva, and so Terach, because he did tshuva, he bailed out his father. So that's how we learned that Terach did tshuva, because Avinu is not just joining Terach; it's just joining. If we'll just say Avicha, maybe Avraham Avinu did good deeds to put Terach in a good place. But he's joining his grandfather also. Must be that Terach himself did tshuva to be Mizaka, his father, right? And that's how we know that Terach did tshuva. That's brilliant. That's actually very good. Doesn't need my approval. I'm just saying, I'm learning this with you guys in real time, so you have to forgive me if I get excited. Yeah, and you also have to forgive me sometimes I'm a little bit, not as complimentary because I feel that the pshat he said before is not as good as the second pshat. This is happening in real time. That's what makes That's what makes us so real. We're doing things in real time. Anyway, we're not performing. We're really learning. Okay. Okay, no, now going back on Vayotza, so hachutza. Remember hachutza, right? Of course, you take him outside. You took him outside. So Vayotza took him out. Hachutza outside took him out outside. You don't have to say it double. You took him out. Of course, outside, right? So now so that's why they darshan hachut, not just literally outside, but also outside, like a whole different realm. Avraham can't have kids. Avraham can have. Avraham. So everyone asked the kasha like this. Wait a minute. All right. Right. Avraham can't be mullet. Avraham can. Well, that's not strictly true, because when he was still Avram, when he still was Avram, he had Yishmael. He had Yishmael together with Hagar. When he was still Avram. All right. So Avram can also have kids, just not Yitzchak. No, not Sarah. Sarah can have kids, but Avram can. So I say Avram in a mullet, Avraham mullet. While he was still called Avram, he also had Yishmael. All right. Now, there are a lot of tips in this, but aside from what everyone has already said, Nira, I would suggest, right? Shazeh Yuvan Imash Pirish Rashi Sham Besamach. Right, Lizar Chadasati, what Rashi says shortly by. Again, Lizar Chadasati, to your children I have given this land. Right, that Rashi really addresses the question that we mentioned before, right? And he really used this concept already a couple of paragraphs ago. To your children I have given. What do you mean to your children? They weren't even born yet. The children that we got it. It hasn't happened yet. Right? So whatever God says, it says good as done. Vavkan Kasham Avraham Molid or any Mosid Osashimcha Reu Ki'ilu Kvar Asui. So okay, fine. So even though formally his name had not changed yet, since God is promising to change his name, it's as if the promise alone is as if it's done. So since on the promise alone, it's as good as being called Avraham, even though it hasn't happened yet. Same idea. However you explain it by to your children I have given the land. Because God's word is as if done already, even though it hasn't happened in physical reality yet. Okay, same thing over here. He promised to change his name to Avraham, so it's as if the name already changed to Avraham, and that's how he's able to have Yishmael. So indeed, Avram Eno Molid, Avraham Molid, and I still called Avram, but Hashem already promised to change his name to Avraham. And since he already promised to change his name to Avraham, it's as if it happened, and that's why he was able to have Yishmael. Right? Pisha Rashi of Sham Kasav Sham Nami Sarah Eno Yoles Ava Sarah Taylor. What's it showed Achaba Double Day Kamashkar Sarah? So now, even though Rashi also said, on the right, that Rashi said the same idea that Hashem told Avram, Sarai can't have kids. Sarah could have kids. Oh, wait a minute. So if God just promised to change her name to Sarah, he just promised it. So he promised. But the promise is as good as done. So why wasn't Sarah able to have children until her name actually changed? By Avram just gained the promise to be called Avraham, gave him the powers of Avraham, and he was able to have father or child. That was Ishmael. But by Sarai, she got the promise to have her name changed to Sarah, but she didn't have become fertile until after her name in physical actuality was also changed to Sarah. What's the difference? There's a chiluk. It's not simple. B'Shem Avraham Elosif Bohei Baruch HaKadosh Kilu Kvar Asuya Shehei Yesh La Nachas Ruach Li Dabuk B'Shmo Shel Avraham. Right. So by Avraham Vino HaKadosh was adding the letter Hey. Right. That Hey with which he created the world. That Hey. Which is alluded to by the final Hey of Yud Kei Vav Kei. That Hey was just That hay was just being waited, just waiting, just dying to be added to Avraham Avinu's name, because you need Avraham Avinu's chus to uphold the world. That same I'm adding a little bit of pirush over here. That same hay, that behei Bram is the hay of Avraham, as we've said previously. So that hay, just that with which God created the world. That hay, which is wants to be the final hay of Yud Kei Vav Kei. That hay, right, with which God created the world, is dying to be added to Avraham's name, right, to fulfill its mission of creating the world. אבל בשרה צריך לשק בין היוד, והיוד עצמו לא ישרוצו לזוז משם הצדקת הזאת. פרק חלק, שיודעתו בשרה, אמר בצורה כמה שרים עד שבא יהושע ועושים לו, אלא ברזו, but by Sarah, he's not adding, so over there, so without even getting so deep, right, over there, it's just a hay being added. From Avram to Avraham, it's just adding a hay. The hay wants it, right? So I just added a lot of parsha why the hay would want it, right? But it's just addition. No harm done. It's only adding, not detracting. So it's as good as done, right? Why not? But by Sarah, you're taking away the yud and putting a hay instead. The yud doesn't want to move. The yud doesn't want to move. And that's what, it's brought down, in Chazal, that the yud that was taken off from Sarai, right, complained to God. Complained, how can you take me away? I'm one of the oisius of the Torah. I'm one of the oisius of the Torah. Right? You can't erase an ois from the Torah. Hey, you're adding, right? God is allowed to add to the Torah. God could do that, right? What I should say this. So it should stem with the Rambam, because the Rambam holds even God can't change the Torah. God can't change the Torah after it was sealed, right? God, he could do what he wants, but he won't. God won't change the Torah. But the Torah wasn't sealed yet. It was still being written, right? Still being written until Moshe Rabbeinu sealed the Chumash on the day of his death, wrote 13 Sifrei Torah. All right, so God himself can add as he wants, but there's a difference between adding and detracting. Adding, okay, Torah hasn't been finished yet. Let's go continue to finish the Torah, right? But to take away, to be machaser for Torah, that's and the Yud complained to God, right? Right? Complained to God and said, hey, I'm an ois from the Torah. You can't erase me. Right, so okay, so one lashon chazal is that this yud was added to the name Yoshua. That's how God said, no, don't worry about it. You will not be batel. You will not be batel. You're just being moved. You're not being taken out of the Torah. You're being moved to another place in the Torah. To be the Yud of Yehoshua, his name would have previously been Hoshea, right? Called Moshe Hoshea ben Yoshua, and that's where the Yud from Sarai got inserted, and it's called Yoshua from that point onwards. Pretty much. So as far as I know, right? Yoshua. Okay, so so that's it. So the Yud ain't moving until it really has to move. So the hay could just be added because there's no resistance. So the promise is as good as done. The exchanging the yud for the hay, it's not going to happen until it happens because the yud don't want to move. It's a very innovative shot. I am saying parenthetically, right? That of course, he is working purely with that shot that the letter yud had to be moved and didn't want to move because it didn't want to be erased. So it. Right, it got moved to Yoshua, so but it did not want to be removed from the Torah, so it didn't move until it was moved because there was resistance. Whereas the hay is just being added; there's no resistance to adding the hay. Right, very cute. Right, right. But although this doesn't stem with a different shot that's in the Medrash, I believe the shot in the Medrash is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu simply splintered the Yud into two hays. Because Yud is Gematria 10, Hay is Gematria 5. He splintered the Yud into two hays. One was the hay of Sarah, and the other one was the hay of Avraham. But he's not working with that Pshan in the Medrash. That Pshan in the Medrash would not stem with what he's saying over here. All right, he's working with the other pshat that the yud, the whole yud, the hey was its own letter, and the whole yud was taken away from Sarai and put by Yoshua under protest, initially under protest until it was put somewhere else. And since it was protest, it doesn't happen till it happens. The yud was resisting moving, whereas the hey is just being added. It's not displacing any other letter. Okay, it's very cute. But time Shibba Tosefes says, hey, yeah, Yachol Haylid. And now the reason why with adding a letter hey, now Avraham Avinu could have kids. Nira, so why should that be the case? What's the connection? Letter hey makes him fertile. Right? So the truth is you're going on Sarah also, right? All of a sudden, Avraham was missing a hey, and Sarah needed to get a hey to go from Sarai to Sarah. The letter hey gives fertility. Why is that? Right? Sha'am Ruzal, the Zera says in Parshas Pinchas, Kishol Kibla Torah, when Am Yisrael got the Torah, Yotzu Tachsan Mazel is all, when we got the Torah, that's when Ein Mazel Yisrael. It's Mikoach the Torah that we're Ein Mazel Yisrael. It's Mikoach the Torah. Vav, Avram Shekem called Torah Kor, that's his Mazel. Right? And also Avraham Avinu, he also had his mazel changed, but it's also, like we said, he was Makayim the whole Torah also, even before it was given. So Avraham Avinu had that koach also because he was Makayim the Torah, even though it wasn't Begetter Mitzvah V'Aisa, from Avinu. So Avraham Avinu had the koach of Torah also, vis-a-vis this issue of getting Lamala min HaMazel. Right? Hey, chutza. Right? Hey, chutza. And therefore, because he kept the 5 Chamisha Chumshei Torah, right? Like it's alluded to by Boker Yom Hashishi. So he's has in mind Rashi on that day we makabel the Chamisha Chumshei Torah on the 6th day of Sivan. Chamisha Chumshei Torah is also another synonym for Kol Torah Kula, right? So here's Makayim the Chamisha Chumshei Torah, right? As per that Rashi on Yom HaShishi, on this 6th day of Sivan, they'll be Mekabel Chamisha Chumshei Torah. Chamisha Chumshei Torah is another synonym for Kol Torah Kula, right? So therefore, Vayotze so ha chutza, hey chutza, hey, because of, and that's why Vayotze also ha chutza, hey chutza. He took him out. So chutza is to include even outside of his mazel, above the mazalot, because of hey, because of Chamisha chutza. That's why he is on the outside of the mazel, outside of the mazel. All right, this concludes Zera Shimshon and Parsha Lecha that we're doing for this week. If everyone wants to keep going, we just do one piece per week. But you see that these pieces are long and complicated. So if you want to do Zera Shimshon, do it right. Not the 5-minute Zera Shimshon or these brain dead sheets. Do the Zera Shimshon. Right, and if there's a popularity, we'll continue. We do one piece per parsha. We could continue doing a different piece next year and a different piece from the parsha the year afterwards. That's what we stress. Is only Lecha 5784. So this is what we have done for this week, and it's plenty. It's at least between the two videos, it's at least an hour and 15 minutes. It's a lot. Okay, just do it well. And give it over to your families. And this video, like the one before, it should be Liluy Nishmas, my friend. And you know what? I feel justified to say that he was my student. He was technically, but But umi Talmida Yosemikum, I learned a lot from Yaacov Deyo. So I am not in any way speaking. I call him my Talmud together, like umi Talmida Yosemikum. I learned a lot from that man, even though technically I was his instructor at Esha Torah. Okay, we should have the Shomer Aliyah and it should be Melitz Yeshon Kleiser these hard times. He's a Ger Tzedek that gave it all up to join this oppressed people. So he has a Pishon Peh to HaKadosh Baruch Hu to ask for Rachamim for Am Yisrael. Okay, Shehir Besuras Taivas.